Srimad Bhagavatam ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we are reading from the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled text 8. Chapter 8. And this chapter is entitled Dhruva Maharaj Leaves Home. And this morning we're looking at text number 22, which is there in the book. So you may repeat this verse after me, line by line. Tammeva Vatashriya Vritya Vatsalam Nitya Padasya Bharatim Ananya Bhave Nitya Dharma Bhavite Manasya Avastapya Vajasva Purusham. From aid to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very kind to his devotees. Person seeking liberation from the cycle of birth and death, always take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service, becoming purified by executing your allotted occupation, just situate the Supreme Personality of God in your heart, and without deviating for a moment, engage always in its service. Fourth, the system of Bhakti Yoga described by Queen Suniti to her son is the standard way of God realization. Everyone can continue in his constitutional occupational duties and at the same time keep the Supreme Personality of God within his heart. That is also instructed by the Lord himself to Arjuna in Bhagavatam. Go on fighting, but keep me within your mind. That should be the motto of every honest person seeking perfection in Krishna consciousness. In this connection, Queen Suniti advised her son that the Supreme Personality of God is known as Prita Vatsala, which indicates that he is very kind to his devotees. She said, "You came to me crying, having been insulted by your stepmother, but I am unable to do any good for you. But Krishna is so kind to his devotees that if you go to him, then the combined kindness of millions of mothers like me will be surpassed by his affectionate and tender dealings. When everyone else fails to mitigate one's misery, Krishna is able to help the devotee." Queen Suniti also stressed the process of approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not easy, but is sought after by great sages who are very advanced in spiritual realization. Queen Suniti also indicated by her instruction that Dhruva Maharaj was only a small child, 5 years old, that it was not possible for him to purify himself by the way of karma. But by the process of Bhakti Yoga, even a child less than 5 years old or anyone of any age can be purified. That is the special significance of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, she advised him not to accept worship of the demigods or any other persons, but simply to take to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the result would be all perfection. As soon as one places the Supreme Personality of Godhead within one's heart, everything becomes easy and successful. Tameva Vatshashaya Vritya Vatsala Mumukshu Virya Padabhya Padakin Ananya Bhave Vikarma Bhavite Manasya Avastapya Majasta Purusha. Dear boy, you should also take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very kind to his devotees. Persons seeking liberation from the cycle of birth and death always take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service, becoming purified by executing your allotted occupation. Just situate the Supreme Personality of God in your heart, without deviating for a moment. Engage always in his service. Mukam karoti bhajavam bhangamanaya devim udvita brahmande shri gurundina dharma. So Dhruva Maharaj, in his distress in having been rejected by his father under the influence of Queen Suruchi, his co-mother. So he took shelter of his biological mother, Queen Suniti. And she is a Vaishnavi, so she is able to give him appropriate instructions. Actually, he came to her with a passionate desire in his mind. Because he is of Kshatriya nature, he is the son of a very great Vedic Maharaj of very ancient times. So the desire that manifests in his mind under the influence of the Raja Guna, which is the mode that influences the Kshatriyas, the desire is to have the greatest kingdom ever known, even surpassing that of his father. In those days, the great kings were cosmic emperors. They did not rule merely some patch of land here in this Jambu tree, but their power extended to other planets, other regions of the universe. So Dhruva Maharaj wanted to have such a kind of kingdom that had not been seen in power and splendor up till that time. But again, his mother was a Vaishnava, so being very simple-hearted, and of course, in love with her son, she spoke from her heart. Her son has come to her in distress. So she spoke to him from her heart. Prabhupada once paraphrasing Queen Suti, what she told her son, said that Dhruva came to her presenting his distressed mind, his desire, and she said, "What can I do? I'm only a woman, and even though I'm in this position of queen, I am not so favored by your husband. He is more attached to his other wife. So I'm in second place around here, and I'm a woman. What can I do for you? But I know that," and she's actually in this verse. This is how Prabhupada paraphrased it. "I know that great sages who are far above me, when they want something, they go to the forest and they perform austerities, meditation, and worship. And there in the forest they find the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. And he takes care of it. So this is the best advice that I can give you, my dear son. You also go to the forest and there find the Lord, and he will take care of it." So actually, this advice went far beyond that mere desire of Dhruva Maharaj. Being a 5-year-old boy, he could not understand the deep meaning of her instruction. But he was a good son, so he formed this determination, and being a Kshatriya, being not just a Kshatriya, being the son of King Uttanapad, so he had such powerful determination, so that when he made this decision, yes, I will follow my mother, I will go to the forest, I will find the Lord there, and nothing would stop me. And as you well know, I think most of you here know this narrative account from the Bhagavatam very well. And you know that when at last Dhruva Maharaj did have darshan of the Lord, then he saw that his attachment to have a worldly kingdom was silly, actually, childish. Although this is of course what a Kshatriya wants. But he realized, now that I see the Lord standing before me, what's the use of my any such minuscule desire which only comes between me and the Lord? It only is the hindrance to pure devotional exchange. But Krishna is so wonderful. Vritta Vatsala, or Bhakta Vatsala is stated elsewhere. He's so kind to his devotees. And when he blesses them, then he also includes within his blessing whatever desire they had, even if it was a childish desire, a silly desire like this. So also that desire to have an unrivaled kingdom was provided for. But more importantly, Dhruva Maharaj became established in devotional service, pure devotional service. He is counted among the Mahajans, the devotees of Krishna consciousness, by the grace of the Lord. And again, as Prabhupada says here, he was only a small child, 5-year-old child. So how powerful this process of devotional service is. How powerful it is. Queen Suniti, she person seeking liberation from the cycle of birth and death always takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service. So this is actually the real goal of life, and this is the only real reason why we should approach the world. Our duty is to approach the world, that we should not avoid, but we should know why. What is the proper course we should take in approaching the world? So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Dhruva Maharaj in any case could not have practiced karma kanda. But karma kanda is not to be accepted. Our great Acharya, Gaudiya Vaishnava line, Narottam Das, has made that nice song. So karma kanda, jnana kanda, what is that? Kevula Vishera Bhang. That the karma kanda, what is karma kanda by the way? But she needs this defined. Because karma kanda, karma yoga, and there's a difference. They're not exactly the same. Karma yoga is actually recommended for those who want to practice devotional service but are not able to renounce the world. They're involved in family life, in business, whatever. They have some worldly responsibilities. So karma yoga means you do your karma, you do your work. But in yoga, that means you do that work, your prescribed duty, whatever it is, you meet all your responsibilities, but do it to satisfy Krishna. Do it with the intention that Krishna will be pleased by my endeavors. Yat karoshi arashnashiya, karoshi arasya. Prabhupada, this particular verse from 9th chapter of Bhagavatam is addressing karma yoga. Yat karoshi, the first two words. Whatever you do, whatever it is your lot in life to do, do it for me. And that will be your yoga, that will be your link, your connection to me. So, this is also for the devotees. Make no mistake about that. Sometimes we hear such discussions among devotees. Sometimes there's this effort to banish karma yoga to some other realm outside of devotion. But that is a wrong understanding. Prabhupada's wonderful book, Renunciation Through Wisdom, one of my favorite books, which has been so nicely provided to us by His Holiness Bhakti True Maharaj, arranged for the translation. These were Prabhupada's Bengali essays published in different places in the late 40s and 50s, before he took sannyas. It was a very, very wonderful book, and so very brilliantly presents the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So you find there that Srila Prabhupada is glorifying karma yoga as devotional service, as a kind of devotional service. So that karma yoga is actually the process accepted by devotees. So what is karma kanda? Karma kanda is offered by the Vedas to the rank materialists. These are materialists. This is for materialistic people whose vision is blinded by their selfish desires, that they are not prepared to take up work for satisfying the Lord. They want to satisfy their own senses. They're not advanced enough yet to clear their minds with that strong desire that who is number one? Me. My desire is the number one. I must be satisfied. My senses must be satisfied. Otherwise, what is work? Prabhupada said, what is the use of work? Prabhupada said, this kind of person, you'll find no inspiration to work if he cannot satisfy his senses. This is immediately what he thinks. What's in it for me? What's the paycheck? This is his calculation. You want me to do something? What will you pay me? So this type of person, then they're offered to karma kanda. then the Vedas are telling them that you want to satisfy your desires, but do it in the best way. Do it in the best way, not only in this life, but the next life. So, then the system of rituals and generally it's demigod worship, that sort of thing, is presented. So the karma kanda is just the very first step in the direction of spiritual knowledge, spiritual practice. Meant for persons who are still very much chained up by material desires. So anyway, Narayana Das Thakur, he rejected this karma kanda. And also jnana kanda. Jnana kanda is actually the next step in the same type of person. And the materialist who comes to frustration. He realizes, I'm working more and doing less. I've tried all kinds of sense pleasure, it's not made me happy. So then he wants to throw off his material burden. Get rid of it. So this is also still not yet devotional too. So Narayana Thakur is compared this karma kanda, jnana kanda to pots of poison atop which, on the surface of which there's little milk in them. It looks very nice. One can say, oh, it is Vedic. It is in the Vedas. So you accept it. But Narayana is warning us, even though it may be presented in the Vedas, if you drink it, you will be poisoned. If you read those portions of the Vedas which recommend these karma kanda jnana, then the mind becomes poisoned against devotional service. It becomes interesting. You understand the simple and pure path of Krishna consciousness. So this is Narayana Das Thakur's warning. Never mind his karma kanda and Dhruva Maharaj anyway, but he couldn't do it. But nobody should do it. Nobody should do it. Because this is Kaitava Dharma, which is rejected on page 1 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Open the Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, right in the beginning, and you'll find this Kaitava Dharma, this cheating religion, which means to offer some material incentive. You see? Some incentive plan for the materialistic person to tempt him to take the Vedic path. That is rejected. Why? Because it is keeping the mind and the desires fixed on this world. And that is the recipe for mundane religion. Mundane religion is just another way of saying Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion. And mundane religion is catastrophic. If you don't believe me, read your newspaper. Because it's all in the news right now. All of this world paranoia about terrorists, etc., etc., etc. What is the root of it? The root of it is mundane religion. Religion which promises you this world as the reward. You should fight and endeavor to conquer land, to assert the position of your sect in this material world against other sects. So it is most vicious. We don't have to talk about this because it's so clearly evident. And Bhagavatam in so many ways rejects this. Saiva Gocha. This business of cows and asses. They're not on the level of human beings. Cows and asses. Such creatures are attached to the fields in which they graze. When a human being is on this level, like a cow or ass, then he's focused on this world and the pleasures of this world. And his family group, and his own sect, and his tribe, and his nation, such and his skin color, and this and that. All material conceptions. Animalistic. And even though one can introduce into this new view of some faith in God, of course that's always better that there be faith in God than no faith in God. But then these rascals, they are rascals. And then they try to use God. They make God their own order supplier. God they'll believe in as long as he's giving. Give. For our plans here in this world. So this spoils the whole concept. Many you see as a result. And it's so prominent in the modern world. Because people are everywhere very less intelligent. And they see some man in religious dress holding up a Kalashnikov machine gun and shouting some verses from some scripture and telling them, fight. And people become disgusted. And they say, yeah, this is what happens when you take to religion. This is called throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You see? Yes, you could throw out the dirty bathwater, but take the baby out of the bathwater. Don't be so foolish. Because that is not actually the path of religion. It's not Bhagavatam. That is cheating religion, which has been rejected on page 1 of the Bhagavatam. We need intelligence to understand this. So, perhaps in earlier ages, before Kali Yuga, there could be some place, some peaceful way to practice this type of karmakanda business for certain class. But now it's Kali Yuga. The personality of Kali is he's a disease. So anywhere he can infect, he infects. The only thing he cannot affect, infect. The only place he cannot penetrate is the pure Sankirtan Dharma that has been shown in the beginning of a wonderful play by Kavi Karnapur, in which the personality of Kavi, he brings personified Adharma, your religion. Come with me, Adharma, I want to show you something. And what does he show Adharma? He shows him Gauranga Mahaprabhu and his glorious Sankirtan movement, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare And this Kavi, he's a very interesting person. Of course, he is a demon, it's a fact. He comes in a line of genealogy of demons that originate with Brahma, a line of brothers and sisters who married each other, very modern type of marriage. And then they had 2 children, 1 son, 1 daughter, and they got married like this. So coming down to this interesting line of descent is Kaviraj. So he's a demon and he's an archetypical militia, archetypical impure, sinful person. And of course his interest is to degrade human society. That's all very clear. But at the same time, he's a kind of devata also. He can be called the demigod of sin. Like he's the demigod of rain, demigod of the sun, demigod of the ocean waters, Maruna. He's also a demigod of sin, Kali. So he has some qualifications, he's intelligent. So seeing the Sankirtan performance of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Kali became very satisfied. And he turned to a Dharma and he said, you see, now we are finished. He was very satisfied. Now this is the one personality, the one movement that not only can we do nothing against it, but it is going to finish all of our business. And Adharma, he was objecting, why if you come here, you are so powerful. You are such, all other, the demigods, all the other persons in this world who are celebrated as being saintly, as being pure, as being religious, they flee before you. They can't stand before you. You are so powerful. So this way they converse, and Krishna explained the identity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself. I am also a servant of Krishna. You are a servant of Krishna. What can you do? So then Dharma said, then what about me? What happened to me? You say we're Krishna. But it's very humorous. You see, Adharma has his Dharma. Adharma has his Dharma. Which is Adharma. Because I am a Dharma, I have my Dharma. I have to, that means your religion, of course, so I have to manifest your religion in this world. So where will I go? And Kaliraj said, don't worry. You can find plenty of business among those who become offensive to this movement of worship. Those who become offenders, then you have great marketplace for all kinds of nonsense religion. So that play was written by Kali Karnapur some 450 years ago or so. So we can understand now what is the situation nowadays. Why this Dharma is coming up? Why this will come? This is all based on offensiveness to the pure religion, the pure movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Kali Yuga, if one takes to any other process besides the pure process given by the Lord himself, then one will become Kali Chela. One will become a disciple of Kali. One may think I am a disciple of, I was reading about one interesting name. I just saw it in the news magazine on the plane. Some religious leader named Baba Cool. Very interesting name. So one may think I'm a disciple of Baba Cool or someone else, this or that, Pope so-and-so. But no, Kali Jiva, that's what you are. You're a disciple of Kali, of the personality of Kali. Because all these others, as soon as one goes away from the pure path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then immediately this business of compromising is seen. And material desire at this age means abominable desire, hellish desire. Because we have to face that. We have to face that. In this present age, the Raja Guna, the Tama Guna are so prominent, so powerful. They're grabbing the human being by the throat and throttling the life out of it. There's no, in-between piety. Either one is on the line or off. That's all. You may think I'm being a little radical speaking like this, but this is the fact. It is self-evident, one can see it. The world is becoming so rapidly, it is already so degrading you can't even speak about it. We used to, years ago, to kind of enlighten the class, we used to sometimes mention things from newspapers or, different places where we have read some reports of those stuff. But now you can't do that because it's too much discussed. It's just too degrading, too cold. And it's becoming worse. As bad as you may think it is now. I remember hearing Srila Prabhupada speaking to his disciples in a lecture that if you are not able to become perfect in your Krishna consciousness in this lifetime, you have to take birth again. Then your spiritual master will be obliged to come back and rescue you. I believe he was explaining this in relationship to the story of Mangala Thakur, whose spiritual master came back from a previous life, spoke through the mouth of his prostitution coming. He had not become quite perfect. He was a great devotee, up to the stage of bhava, ecstasy and love of God, but he did not quite get out of the cycle of birth and death, and had to take one more birth. He took a very nice birth as a Brahmin, had all opportunity, but as Prabhupada says, even on the royal road there is danger of accidents, so he became enmeshed in a relationship with a prostitute. But his spiritual master was so kind as to even appear within that prostitute and speak through her mouth, and to instruct him, shake him out of his mouth. So in that connection, Prabhupada was telling us that the spiritual master is obliged to come back if the disciple does not achieve perfection in this life. And then Prabhupada said, now you can see the condition of this Kali Yuga, and it will only become worse in the future. So please have mercy on me. Don't oblige me to come back to save you, because it will only be so much worse. I was speaking with my godbrother Tejas Prabhu. Some of you may have heard of him. In the 1970s, and a little bit in the 80s, here in India, mainly in Delhi. One of Chowpatty's dear disciples. So I was telling him how I had read on the internet some health reports and some medical advice. And one of the items by one doctor was, you will find this interesting, so many doctors. So one of the items was concerning venereal disease, the danger of disease from illicit sex. So the doctor made a statement, and then those who want to make comments, and they would send an email. So I was telling Tejas Prabhu, I saw this one comment from a 17-year-old American girl. And she was saying, thank you, doctor, for this. It's very important, these things you say, because I am noticing, when she was saying, in the younger generation, she's 17. I'm noticing the younger generation, she means girls who are 12, 13 years old. They're doing so many things in the area of sex, which even I have not done. She's 17. I said to Tejas Prabhu, I said, so this is nowadays, this is the generation gap. And he said, no, it's the degeneration gap. Between 12 and 17. The 17-year-old cannot relate, is shocked by the behavior of children. Oh, what is happening to these young kids? This is going on. Then it will get worse. 12-year-olds will be looking at 7-year-olds. Oh, what are they doing? This is inevitable. This is the influence of Kali Yuga. So I'm just telling you these things so that you can see there is no chance that in this one line of dharma presented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the pure movement of Sankirtan, there is no other chance to get free from the grip of this Kali Yuga. And if we stay within his grip in the name of trying to satisfy our own desires, being attached to our own sense gratification, and therefore we think, well, there's some other path of religion that is better for me because they allow this or that, which is not permitted by the color of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we go on thinking like that, then he will devour us, chew us up and swallow us. So, let's follow the simple path. Shown by Dhruva Maharaj. Prabhupada used to like to give the example of Dhruva Maharaj to show everyone that it is so. easy, so nice for everyone, even children can do. Of course, this was a different time, so what Dhruva Maharaj did, even as 5-year-old boy, we cannot do it now. Even as 70-year-old man, that type of renunciation. But the same thing, pure devotional service, has been given to us by Lord Chaitanya in a very sweet, most sweet and most sublime and most easy form. Just to chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, chant this Maha Mantra and to, sustain our life in the pure mood of goodness, so that we will get the most out of the chanting. Ishvara Sadiya Sevaka Madhya Mukhi Bolo Hari Hari. So Chandas Thakur said, if you actually want to relish, if you relish, it makes your holy name. Ishvara Sadiya, we have to give up sense gratification, lower modes. So thank you very much. I got here rather late last night. I had to get my own affairs together. I'm only speaking off the top of my head. Not very so focused. But would there be any questions? Yes? Gentleman here?
Hello, thank you very much for the class. And you brought out this issue about Karma Yoga and Karma Kanda. And devotion service, Suhotra Swami says that Anya Bhirashaka Shunyam Jnana Karma Jnana. So, that means even a devotion service potentially has to come up. And what exactly is this how to be recognized?
Yes, that's a good question. Suhotra Swami said, Anyāvivāshita Shunyam, all other desires except the desire to serve Krishna should be it's like turning down the amplifier to zero. Turn it down to zero. And Jnana Kamari and Avrita. Jnana, the tendency to Jnana and speculation and karma to truth or should be uprooted. So then I said in the class that karma yoga is within bhakti. So then someone may see a contradiction. But no, if we follow Lord Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita, then what is that except bhakti? How can we? Krishna tells us what to do as devotees in the Bhagavad Gita. But he is allowed for different situations in devotional service. So again, one may have worldly responsibilities, but one can execute them as devotional service to satisfy the Lord. And if there is some, because this karma that must be given up, what is the meaning of that? I mean, this Prophet said so many times, ritualized behavior. You see, karma, the nature of the work that we call karma, means the work that we must do to maintain this body. So, you're going to do that anyway. You're going to eat, you're going to sleep, you're going to cook, you're going to have to maintain a place to live, you're going to have to keep it clean. For most people, they're going to have a family. So, this and other activities are all necessary for maintaining the body. So, this karma which Rupa Goswami, the sense of karma that Rupa Goswami is saying must be uprooted, is again the same thing. To pro forma, do some ritual, religious ritual. But actually the intention is just to maintain the body. some pro forma observance of religion. But the actual goal is just to maintain the body. But the karma yoga that is being spoken of by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and is recommended by Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnava turns this on its head. You do what you have to do, you do it to satisfy Krishna. You see the difference? The intention is to satisfy the Lord. And whether or not I am, of course you'll be satisfied, just like we see with Trupamara. That's the point. Krishna will take care of it. But as Krishna says in the Gita, you give up all anxiety. Give up all anxiety for your maintenance, for your future, all these things. Give up that anxiety. You simply live under the dependence of the Lord. And this is one of the symptoms of surrender. To place oneself under the protection of the Lord and to be truly dependent upon the Lord. So one should do one's activities if one has both the responsibilities in the mood of surrender to Krishna. Isn't that good? But you see, those who just make religion an adornment, you see, an adornment for their material program, for the business of maintaining their body. You know, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, somewhere I was reading, he explained it so nicely. And we can see it all around the world, that there is some social impetus among materialistic people. There is also some social pressure that if you want to belong to our group, you want to be accepted in this neighborhood or whatever, then you should go to temple, you should go to church, but we go, you know. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out there are many persons who are doing this, they're going to the religious house of worship. But the motivation is not to go there to have darshan of the Lord, not to serve Him, not to feel the ecstasy of His presence, but they're doing that because, you know, the neighbors expect me to do it. If I don't go, it may, you know, it may hurt me, it may hurt my social standing, they'll talk about me, they'll gossip about me, it may hurt my business, whatever. Someone will exclude. So out of this, you know, social concern, there's an external observance of religion. So this is what is rejected. Did I make it clear? Is there another question?
Madam, you mentioned that Guru Maharaj was living in a different time span, and because of that, the activities that Guru Maharaj performed at the age of 5 were not really regulated during the time. But then we are told that basically during this whole Yuga cycle, Satya, Trita, Dwapar and Kali, the time span ranges from 100,000 years to 100 years during Kali Yuga. But at the same time, the scriptures we read about the great kings like Bharat Maharaj, who had according to the law of history, he could rule for 10 million years. So, what exactly was the